push the button.
Hello, world. We are back again with more conversation.
We're not going to discuss how the house is a mess.
No.
It's after Christmas. There is a post-Christmas having toddlers and other kids grace period, okay? That's the way I feel about it.
Kid house destruction. That's all this is.
Okay. Today's topic is going to surround children and what our personal requirements for being around and or meeting our children are going to be. Pretty sure I covered all the tenses.
We met our kids already, though.
Huh?
Other people meeting our kids.
Yeah. Well, our standards specifically because we're going to have another party that's going to come in. So I figured we could discuss what our standards are for that person to meet our kids. And then in addition to that, like family being around our kids, and I put that in quotes for a reason. What that means to us. So for example, when I met Crazy Baby, what were your thoughts in your head for requirements for that?
I just didn't want. I wanted to see how temporary you were gonna be, or how permanent you were gonna be, or at least the potential for either one. See where it goes. Nothing is guaranteed, but you can kind of gauge that off of like the time that's already been spent. However, how much time. I didn't really have a time set of when that was gonna happen. I just kind of whenever I was comfortable, I guess, or more comfortable.
We had been together for a year, something like that, before I met her.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Some people it's a month. Other people it's 2 weeks. Who knows?
I'm not saying that there's a time limit. I definitely can't be a person to say that there is a time limit. I introduced you to Kyrie on our first date. I brought her with me. I didn't have a babysitter. You said you were cool with it. I brought her with me. It was actually probably one of the things that attracted me to you was being able to see you with her. Like, our first date, we went to that park. She ate chicken tenders with you, and she didn't like people then. She was like, no, I don't want anything to do with people. And now she calls you babe.
Girls don't like people now. Shit.
She likes certain people. She likes you. She loves Crazy Baby.
True.
She likes the girls unless they're near me. It's a little bit of an issue with her. Anyway, my point to saying that was that, so you wanted to see how temporary I was. I wanted to see how you were going to be with her, but I feel like I had the advantage because if things hadn't worked out between us, Kyrie was, 18 months old? She'd never, ever would have remembered. Like, she wouldn't have known the difference.
I mean, the advantage over what?
In the situation. Like, because if for whatever reason things hadn't worked out between us and I had met Crazy Baby, she is old enough that she would have known who I was, right? Versus, there's no way in heck Kyrie would have remembered you.
Maybe I made a lasting impression.
She was like not even a year and a half old.
Nope. Lasting impression.
Okay, lasting impression. Is this because you're the best dad to ever dad?
Best dad to ever dad ever.
Oh, okay.
In the world of ever.
Oh, okay. Now we're adding stuff to it?
Since time has ever.
Okay. Since the inception of time?
Yes.
All right. Let's move past that because we're not even going to get started on that category. So what do you feel like our standards? We've had several discussions about this, but what do you feel like your standards for us bringing someone else at this point, now that we have more kids in the picture? What are your standards for us bringing somebody in to meet them? Keep playing with this little finger puppet.
They just have to be I'd have to say, like, just a reasonable person, you know, open-minded, definitely, and patient. Patience is huge with kids in general. And they can't have forgotten what it's like to be a kid. I think that's a big thing. I think as adults we forget, you know, what it's like to be a kid, and how those thoughts go sometimes.
This video is not sponsored by Circle, but if you want to sponsor us, just saying. Listen, go through 3 of these cartridges a day in this house between the 3 of our cups. Yeah, it's a lot.
If we allow Crazy Baby to, she'd go through 6 of them bitches by herself.
Now, okay, this being said, I don't feel like she's using them properly. Because, like, with this watermelon one, sometimes you gotta turn it up and down to kind of get it going.
She's just full flavor all the time till it's gone right now. That's what it is.
I mean, isn't that kind of how we live our life when we're younger? So, I feel like... I'm sorry, you were saying. I apologize. I girl brained that one out.
I was done.
Okay. So, I feel like my standard has changed a little since we first started dating. Because, we have something built. There's more to lose, realistically. Like, Kyrie is older. If she meets people, she recognizes them later, asks for them, that kind of thing. And I think that does a lot to change your perspective. I would like to know that somebody is at least a semi-permanent figure before we bring them around. And that's not to say that that won't change situationally, because obviously you never really know what's going to happen. You can't plans have to be somewhat fluid. Putting a rigid plan in place never works out. Like, ever. Realistically.
There's only so much you can do to prepare for that, though. For a person to be permanent. I mean, it's very weird because if you look at meeting people in general and you have kids, of course you usually go into that with the intent of that person being around. But more times than not, that doesn't happen. So, with that being said, we tend to have this thought that our kids are like some fragile-minded little things, and they're not. They are strong, and they will get past that person just like they will get past all the other people that come along in their life that are temporary. Not everybody's permanent in your life. There's a lot of people that are just in passing. They're there for that moment, or however that moment is, and then they're gone.
Yeah.
So there is no 100% way to guarantee that person is going to be permanent. The intent can be there, but what do you really do to even try and prepare for that? What do you...
No, there's no way to guarantee it, but I don't want 100 women in and out of our daughters' lives. Like, I don't want them thinking, oh, mommy and daddy are floozies. Bringing all these hussies in and out the door. Like, no.
Floozy.
Yes, floozies.
Hussy.
First of all, you leave my floozy and hussy alone. Yes,
Floozy.
floozies and hussies.
This is where I have a hard time, because on one side of this, yes, I agree with you, but on the other side, I tend to view people as temporary anyway until they show that they're permanent. So, I mean, I kind of expect a person to be in and out unless they're not, or until they're not.
Okay, but I guess it's that old adage about how every person that you meet, your kids don't need to meet.
True.
I want to be able to meet someone and spend time with them and kind of gauge who they are and how they are before I allow their presence and their energy around our kids. Like, because have you seen those videos where those moms, they ask them if they'll kill for their kids, and these moms, like, they hesitate and they're like, well, no, I will straight up commit felonious murder. All the murder.
Is it not a felonious murder?
Maybe.
Misdemeanor murder?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you can get away with it somehow. I don't know. I don't know. But I will straight up do it. Like, they will charge me with murder one, because there will be intent. There will be all of it. I'm okay with it. And I will smile in my mugshot, because you fucked with my kids.
But how do you see all of that without the kid part of it? Because, like, let's just take me for instance, right? If you see me without kids, without any of my kids, I don't necessarily just look like I would be an amazing best dad ever.
You do not scream best dad ever without the kids.
So, like, but then seeing me with them is a completely different story.
It's a whole thing.
So, it's
my whole little heart.
How do you gauge that without them being present around the kids?
So, with you, we had conversations, right? You and I talked about our kids long before we ever met. And I feel like you can tell a lot about a person in general by how they talk about their kids, by how they talk about things they want to do with their kids or things they have done or like that kind of thing. The way that you talked about Crazy Baby made you more attractive.
Best dad ever.
So, I mean, I feel like there will be those conversations. And at least, obviously not all of it, but at least part of it can be gauged in those conversations, I feel like.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there. Because there's people that you get a vibe off of them, and it's like, not so much. No, we're not going to entertain this.
For those people, we can have duct tape.
Ooh, duct tape. No, that's a whole another episode. Nope.
Like Gorilla tape? Like Gorilla tape is amazing. You don't want that. It's going to rip all of your skin off.
No, thank you. And that's why I didn't even ooh. There was no ooh to that one. Okay. So let's pivot this conversation a little bit and discuss friends and family and what our requirements for them are to like be a part of our kids' lives.
That's just situational, just like everything else is. I think the one big thing, at least for me, is to not allow things to happen that I don't even do, or we don't even do around our kids. You know, so that I guess it's just one situation, but
So, by that I'm assuming you're referring to like drugs and alcohol and all that jazz. Fighting. Any of those sorts of things.
yeah, anything like
Well, because like we have arguments or whatever. We would never do it in front of the kids if we can help it. We indulge in the occasional drink and or other situation.
it was never in front
Never.
or around. The closest they get to us is they're sleeping when these things happen. Oh, that baby is so pitiful.
Mm-hmm.
So pitiful.
So, for me, an important thing is that the kids are equal, right? Like, it's important that you don't show favoritism to one kid over another.
I would agree with that, but I would adjust it and say, like, blatant favoritism, like you hug one kid and like push the other one down, you know, like.
I personally think there's a lot more subtle ways of showing favoritism that
I'm sure there
kids
is.
notice.
I'm sure there is some way more subtle ways, but
Yeah, but kids notice that stuff. You know, they know. I mean, I know my parents didn't appreciate that particular rule when I came to them and I was like, oh, by the way, my new husband has 4 kids and they're all your grandchildren now. Yay!
I'm sure they didn't.
I was like, oh, you went from you weren't having kids to now you have 4. Okay, cool. And then Gyra came along, and then, you know. But I'll never forget. Telling my dad that I was pregnant with Sora, he was ecstatic. You know, that's always a weird conversation. Like, hey, by the way, I'm pregnant. Like, it's literally, hey, by the way, I fucked somebody. Yay!
I mean, I guess. You don't have to say that part, but yeah.
I mean, but literally, that's what you're walking up to people and be like, hump dumpling.
2.0.
Look what I made.
Hump dumpling.
Yeah, hump dumpling. Listen, I call kids strange things. It's all good. I also call our kids midgets all the time. If I'm calling your B word to check on Crazy Baby, how is the eldest of the midgets? I'm always very careful not to call her the biggest of the midgets because I don't want to give her like a complex.
So you want to make her feel like a senior citizen?
In comparison to the other 3, she is. Like, if we're just kind of doing numbers here, she's 11. Kyrie's will be 4 on the next month. The other 2 are 1, so in comparison,
She is an old bat.
she might as well sign up for the old age home over there.
We can get her some AARP.
You know you can get that now.
For
You
kids.
sign up for it? No, you got. I think you have to be like 35. I think. I'm probably very
Tell
wrong.
me I can get AARP?
You can. Brenda has it.
Okay.
Although Brenda's a little bit older than you. She's only like 3 years older than you. Because she's 6 years older than me and you're 3 years older than me. So yeah.
Wow.
AARP. Crazy thoughts. Crazy thoughts. But you get discounts all kinds of places. I think it's worth it. Let's go get AARP memberships.
You go get one.
I will. Don't judge me. Hey, I'm all for the discounts. I'm that person that's in there talking about, ooh, I got a coupon for this. But me couponing and getting discounts is vital to our survival sometimes.
True.
So, I don't.
Very, very true.
There have been times that, you know, me saving that $5 in one place, let it be existent for another. So, I don't hear it. Is that a diaper? Get it away from me. Why is there a diaper up there? Wait. All right. We have strayed from this topic a little bit.
Hey, so new person coming in, you can't be super crazy, or
Murderous?
I mean, I thought that falls under the category of super crazy. But okay, we can detail it if you want.
I mean, I can handle a little bit of crazy, but murder's too far.
No super crazy, no kid touchers, or anything to do with kids, really. That's bad.
No suspicion of any of that either.
Well, yeah.
No current illegal activity that could put them in harm's way. I think that's important.
Very.
You know, I don't mind having a past. I don't mind the whole history. Like, that is what it is. We've all done what we had to do and survived and, you know, whatever. And some of us got caught. So, there's that. Like, history is history. Everybody comes with one. But I don't want anybody who's currently involved in anything that has the potential to put our kids at risk in any way. Like, be that physical or emotional, or like put their housing at risk or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yep. I think all of that is important. I think it's also important that family and friends be willing to follow boundaries. Know that those boundaries can change and adjust, because we're all humans and things change and adjust. And that's part of life. And I think we're going to have to cut this conversation short, because I hear babies and nap time appears to be over.
Yeah.
So that shall be all for today. I'm going to put a poll below here so you guys can vote on what you would like to hear us talk about next. I'll put a couple of different options up there. Let us know what you'd like to hear about. If you have any questions, so on and so forth, put it in the comments. Like, share, do all the things. Make sure you are subscribing and telling your friends to subscribe, because, why not? And we shall see you guys next time.